Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about how to cook grains. So I gave you, this is just supplemental, you don't have to do this, but I just want to throw this because it tends to be something that we always need. So here we go. The most important grain, or the one that's used most around the world, is rice. It's the most common food in the world, and it's used because it has carbs and fiber and protein and all kinds of stuff. Now we tend to like the white stuff that doesn't have as much, but there's a lot of other grains. I'm going to show you some of those in just a couple minutes. So when rice comes to us in large bags, it has a starch on it that we need to get off, and we have two ways to get that away from us for eating so it doesn't make our rice sticky. The first way is to rinse it with water, which is what I'm going to do in just a moment. The other thing you can do is you can heat up a little oil in a pan and actually saute the rice and cook off the starch that way too. That's used in more Latin American countries and places that have a harder time with water. Since we've got plenty of water, I'm going to use that as a way to wash this off. So I've got the 1 cup of rice that was in your culinary bag, and then I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to wash this over, rinse it with cold water, just to get until the rice comes clean. While I'm letting that do that, I have 2 cups of water. So for every 1 cup of rice, I need 2 cups of water. And I did, in the supplemental materials, also gave you a chart because different types of grains have a different ratio. But for the most part, most grains are like 2 to 1. Most of the grains that we like to eat are actually seeds from the top of a grassy kind of plant. But there are others that are other kinds of seeds, and they tend to be high in protein because they're part of the seed that actually will sprout and would allow them to grow again. So once your rice has drained and it's nice and clear coming through there, what I'm going to do is take my water, put it in my pan. So I've got 2 cups of water in a pan that has a nice fitting lid, and I'm going to stick this on the stove. By putting the lid on, it will come to boil faster. So I'm just going to let this come to boil, and I'll be right back. Now that my water is boiling and it's come to a nice good boil, I'm going to go ahead and put my rice in. I'm going to let that sit for just a second and make sure it comes back to a boil. And once it's nice and bubbling again, I put this lid on so that it's going to keep that steam in, because that steam is what's going to cook it. And then I actually can just turn my heat off and let that sit for about 20 minutes. Now, if you have a rice cooker, please follow the directions. That's always a good way to do it. But in about 20 minutes, this rice will be done.